Joining us now with more, New York Congressman Mike Lawler, along with Fox News contributor Joe Concha. Gentlemen, what I saw this weekend here in Washington, D.C. was just an incredible display of patriotism, optimism from President Trump's barn burner of a speech, first out in Teddy Roosevelt's museum, then at Mount Rushmore, then here in Washington, D.C., along with historic display of fireworks. There were so many people here who incurred expense and sacrifice to be here this weekend. And speaking of sacrifice, the split screen of these ungrateful, spoiled brat people like the mayor of New York's wife, Nepo baby, ultra rich, taking off and going to Spain for an Islamic wellness retreat instead of staying here and celebrating America 250, split screen along with our World War II veterans sitting there, many of them in wheelchairs, to be a part of America's 250th celebration. Mike Lawler, what is wrong with these people in New York that you're about to serve with in Congress?
Well, Kellyanne, it's horrible, frankly. I don't understand where some of my colleagues are coming from, where some of the hierarchy of the Democratic Party is coming from. No matter our differences, no matter the politics of today, America is the greatest country on the face of the earth that has done more to ensure freedom, opportunity, and prosperity, not just for Americans, but for folks around the globe, which is why you saw the French and the Germans and the Japanese recognize America 250 because of the special role we have played in the world. You know, Kellyanne, I was on Fox on Saturday morning at Liberty State Park with the Statue of Liberty on the background, and I talked about what it meant to me. I proposed to my wife on the Statue of Liberty. She's an immigrant from Eastern Europe, from Moldova. She was born in the Soviet Union and came to this country by herself in search of opportunity. And I contrasted that with Mayor Mamdani, who sat behind George Washington's desk deriding the United States of America. Meanwhile, he's an immigrant from Uganda who became a citizen 8 years ago and is the mayor of the financial capital of the world, and yet found more opportunity to bash America than to praise it and to show gratitude. It's pathetic. It's embarrassing. And frankly, unfortunately, it is the Democratic Party of today.
It's a great point. I would think if you've achieved your American dream, you shouldn't be anti-American about it. Joe Concha, you must have been watching this as our resident media expert and just scratching your head yet again that people can't project patriotism and optimism. If you're Gavin Newsom and you're governor of our largest state, can't you just talk about that? Can't you talk about the beautiful state where I think the problems are man-made and everything that's nice there was put by God? But how do you reconcile just the sour, dour makeup of folks to celebrate our great nation's history and birthday?
Well, Kellyanne, if you're one of these people who decided to take this incredible occasion, 4th of July, 250th celebration that we as adults or my kids will never forget because it was so overwhelmingly patriotic and positive with this belief that we are a great country and our best is yet to come if we make the right decisions coming forward. If you use this occasion to crap all over this republic, whether like you're a Karen or a Newsom, which are basically the same thing at this point, to use your platform, thank you. You could borrow that. That's cool. To talk about how horrible this country is and why you hate it so much, you are on the very wrong side of what should be a day where we all come together as Americans, as patriots. I mean, you see these eye-popping and depressing polls coming into July 4th. Only 1/4 of those who vote Democrat will fly an American flag in honor of 250. Going into that holiday, or when you see that 1 in 10 Kamala Harris voters in 2024 are proud to be Americans, while compared to that who voted Republican during the Obama years, it was 9 in 10 during those years. Even though they had a Democratic president they probably disagreed with on most things, it still stood at 90% to be proud to be American, regardless of who was in the Oval Office. So this is the Democratic Party. This is what they're selling going into the midterms and 2028 election. They will lose, and they will lose huge, because you're a messaging person, Kellyanne. I'm a student of messaging. And what I know is that positivity in slogans works. You know, the shining city on the hill with Reagan, make America great again with Trump. These are messages that resonated, as opposed to I'm with her, with Hillary, okay, or Kamala Harris, I'm for they, them. In the end, that's what wins. And if Democrats want to be this country sucks, or You want to be Republicans and say, you know
Like the
what,
bumper
we're a
sticker.
great country, we could be better. That's the way it's going to go.
Congressman Mike Lawler, you are one of only 3 Republicans in the House of Representatives that won a congressional district that Kamala Harris also won in 2024. You had President Trump in recently. A, how's your race looking? And B, are you bullish or bearish about Republicans' chances to keep the House?
Well, I feel great, Kellyanne. You know, my district, as you mentioned, is a district that Harris won, Biden won, Clinton won. There's 80,000 more Democrats than Republicans. It is home to the Clintons and George Soros. So tough district, but my district knows me, and we've delivered well for my district, especially lifting the cap on salt, providing real tax relief. So I'm bullish on November. I think it's a slog, but we're going to win it. And Americans need to gear up and get in the fight, because this is a fight against good versus evil, capitalism versus socialism, freedom versus oppression and tyranny. And you see what the Democrats are offering right now. We got to fight back.
Congressman Mike Lawler and Joe Concha, thank you so much.
All right, thanks for watching. Check out my new podcast, Hanging Out with Me, Sean Hannity. The big interviews, the debates you won't get anywhere else. Like and subscribe for new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday.